Hi, and welcome. My name is Sue Lake Harris, and I'm a holistic healthcare teacher and coach. I'm also a traditional Usui Shiki Roho Reiki teacher and practitioner. I've been working professionally in this area since 1998. Today I'll be that I commonly hear when people talk to me about Reiki. One of the first questions I get is along these lines. Why do your courses last 3 days? Someone near me offers Reiki 1 in just 6 hours. So here's my reaction to that question. Dr. Hayashi, one of the last teachers who learnt directly with Usui Sensei, the founder of the system of Reiki, worked closely with Usui on formalizing the training, and Hayashi used to teach over a 3-day period. I see myself as a custodian of a tradition, so I follow that same timeframe tradition as passed on from Dr. Hayashi to Mrs. Takata, then to Beth Gray and Barbara McGregor. Mrs. Takata asked her teachers to retain the methods as she passed them on, which Beth Gray honoured and then asked Barbara to do the same. Both Barbara and Beth asked me to make the same commitment. Also, in order to cover everything, it simply needs 3 days, around 20 hours or so, depending on the needs of the people in each class. This length of time permits in-depth assimilation of your learning and the attunements. I feel that any less does you a disservice. Another question I'm asked frequently relates to why there are so many variations and claims about Reiki. The kinds of things I hear are, I want to learn Reiki for myself, but there seem to be so many options. Books promoting self-attunements, distance attunements and internet courses, 4-hour cheap courses, and very expensive ones. And with some groups there seem to be never-ending levels. How do I choose? I go back to my understanding of the teaching of Reiki in its early years. Firstly, Mikao Usui was physically present with his students when they received their attunements. And as he was the founder of this system of healing, I don't ascribe to any sort of over the internet or distance attunements or trying to attune yourself. That would be the first way I would eliminate a course. The second point for me would be to know something about the teacher. How long has he or she been using Reiki? What training was received in terms of learning to teach? The traditional Japanese approach is a long apprenticeship over a number of years until a point is reached where both teacher and student believe the apprentice is ready to teach solo. And beyond the apprenticeship, they usually retain a mentor relationship. Unfortunately, some people only do a weekend or a month and then proclaim themselves ready to teach. Now, I'm a formally trained classroom teacher. I have a 4-year Bachelor of Education degree and additional adult learning qualifications, not to mention many years of teaching behind me. So I can assure you that a weekend or a month simply isn't anywhere near long enough. How's this for an analogy? Imagine you're a parent who's about to send your child off to school for the very first time, and you've been given the option of what teacher to choose. Both teachers on offer are equally warm and caring. They both want the best for your child. One teacher has formal teaching qualifications and has done supervised practice in real classroom situations, learning about classroom management, children's learning styles, curriculum and so on from an experienced teacher and through tertiary studies. This teacher has been evaluated, regularly self-assesses, and all this over several years before gaining a Bachelor of Education. The second option is a dedicated person who loves working with kids, but only attended a weekend introduction to teaching workshop. Who would you send your child to? I always say that people considering doing any form of learning should find out about the presenter in advance and take into consideration how much time was spent in acquiring the background necessary in order to provide the learning experience. If you want to invest in your personal growth, then you owe it to yourself to find the best teacher or coach for you. And please note, I'm not saying teachers of Reiki who've only done short courses are not caring and nurturing people. Just that short courses don't allow for the development of the leadership, knowledge, and skill requirements. I'm also not saying all Reiki teachers need a background in formal education. I am saying they need a strong foundation of working with Reiki over many years, on themselves and with others, and that their preparation to become a teacher of Reiki should have taken quite a bit longer than a month. My own apprenticeship involved attending almost every seminar my teacher ran for over 5 years in duration, all over Australia and overseas. And this was amazing preparation to ensure my readiness to teach Reiki. It's also good to know how many students might be present in an average class and something about how the classes are conducted. For Reiki 1, a class with less than 8 or so students simply doesn't provide the student group with enough varied practice experience or interaction between fellow students and the teacher. Students can learn a huge amount from each other because of what each of them brings to a class. Then I consider the delivery time frame. A class that runs for less than 18 or so hours is, to me, probably lacking in depth and may not provide enough practice time for students to leave feeling assured that they're experiencing the energy we call Reiki. There should also be a gap between completing Reiki 1 and 2. Students need time. They need time to practice at the first level, developing awareness of the energy and discernment of subtle differences in terms of flow and sensation. While not being a hard and fast rule, I'd recommend around 3 months or so between completing the 2 levels. I certainly do not support a single weekend where both levels are conducted as one class. This format simply doesn't give anyone enough time for practice, let alone provide enough time to cover both levels adequately, appropriately, and in depth. It was nearly a year between my Reiki 1 and 2 classes, and I believe this worked to my benefit in having gained quite a lot of hands-on experience before I moved to the second level. And finally, some basics. There should be 4 attunements at Reiki 1 if you're attending a traditional Usui Reiki class, and the teacher should have a verifiable lineage that goes back to Mikao Usui. There shouldn't be any tools outside of your hands and the attunements. Reiki doesn't use crystals, or essential oils, or Tibetan singing bowls, or any other external paraphernalia. You shouldn't be taught about chakras. That's an energetic concept from India and not part of the original system. You should learn about the background of Reiki in terms of the teachers. You should learn about Mikao Usui's precepts, or ideals if you like. You should experience simple meditation with Reiki, and you should learn, through practice and by working with the teacher, the possibilities around physical reactions, mental, emotional, and spiritual responses, and how to deal with them. It's a good idea to check that the teacher belongs to a reputable teaching organisation and/or professional association, and that the relevant insurances are in place. No teacher should be offering diagnostic comment. Another question I get asked quite a lot is about teaching Reiki to children. I offer Reiki to children as a treatment at any age, including in utero. But for teaching children, my thoughts are a little different. Children are vital and energetic beings, and unless unfortunate enough to fall seriously ill when very young, they tend to be robust and healthy, with strong energy and physical bodies. In order to take on board the teachings within Reiki, they need to have awareness of themselves as individuals and to have developed at least a simple understanding of their own conscience, the difference between right and wrong. So I don't teach children younger than 7, though I will teach family members of a young child who is ill. It's important for children to be old enough to understand what they are doing and to actually want to do the seminar, not just because they were told to or asked to. So I will always have a quiet discussion with the child before accepting the enrolment in order to be sure the child really wants to learn Reiki. People also ask me if it's true they can use Reiki with their pets and plants. Oh yes, you certainly can utilize Reiki with pets. I use Reiki daily with my very old dog and very young cat. Both are in great health, and the vet comments on their condition each time I take them in for checkups. They love the energy, and I do provide basic guidelines during Reiki 1 on how you can use Reiki with pets when you learn Reiki with me. Potted plants are very happy when they receive Reiki. Cut flowers tend to last a lot longer. Seedlings take transplanting really well, and they're often vigorous growers. I hope tuning in today has been helpful to you, and I'd love to hear from you with any feedback or questions. So, utilize the contact options available here. Thanks for listening.